OCOTE, this is Fiber Grey Wolf reporting from Native Voices Turtle Island TV. And today we have a very special guest, and she is a activist as well as many other things. Her name is Yoko Yamamoto. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
But please correct me if I didn't, dear. And my co-host is Miss Donna Coane, who is a spiritual leader and one of my best friends. She's from the Mohawk Scotticoke Nations. And I'm so pleased to have both of you on here tonight. We have a lot of good things to discuss. It's funny, Donna approached me about inviting you on the show. A day before that, I had just read that the United Nations leader was very afraid of nuclear happenings. I mean, as we speak, he's been preaching at the United Nations, making people aware that misinterpretation or misunderstanding could cause a nuclear disaster for all of us. With the war with Ukraine and Russia running amok, United Nations is very afraid of this situation. And I don't know if the spirit drove Donna to notify me about you the very next day. I don't know if you heard any of the updates about the United Nations leader being afraid of the nuclear weapons or the war. Have you heard anything about it lately?
Not yet. I was listening to the news from Japan this morning, and I didn't find any new movement yet. But
Yes, well, just the day before, he's warning United States and Canada his fears of possible nuclear happenings for our country. And Donna, the very next day, she told me about you and your activism, and your fears, and you not wanting anything to do with nuclear wars happening. Can you start from Hiroshima? For a lot of young people in the audience, they're not familiar with World War II. They don't keep up on world events. If you can fill in, especially for the young audience, a little bit about Hiroshima and the neighboring community that was destroyed and why it was destroyed.
oh, are you asking me to describe those the actually aftermath? What happened after the little boy was dropped to Hiroshima and Fat Man on Nagasaki? How it happened? Is that your question?
Yes, a lot of school children are not being taught this world history about these
Mm-hmm.
wars and the impact on the human population and what it did and what it's doing. They have no idea. A lot of young people are into hip hop and they're on social media doing doing just that, social media, and a lot of people are not well versed about American history or world history.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a little bit about you that you actually know survivor of the Hiroshima
Mm-hmm.
um, bombing,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a story to tell. as well. So
Yeah.
I
Um,
wanted to talk a little bit about that and lead up to what you're doing, your activismness, your way of dealing with the situation, your fears.
mhm. That whole that the reason that why I'm doing this um the Bondori Dance Festival for Peace is
Is there a radio behind you or something, dear?
can
Could
you
you
hear
turn
me?
it down? Yes. Speak a
Can
little
you hear me?
louder. Yes, I hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay. Um, let me just tell you about the background, how I got involved in this. And I was born in Japan and grew up in Hiroshima, not Hiroshima, but I was born in Yokohama. But I moved to Hiroshima 10 years old. And because my family was the only family moved to Southwest, lots of I came from big family, but most of families are living in metropolitan Tokyo area, so they have no idea what that happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And every summer break, winter break, spring break, I had many visitors from Tokyo area. They come visit us in Hiroshima. So my parents took them to everywhere to entertain them. But one of the main spot that we are visiting every time when we have guests was Hiroshima Peace Museum. So I ended up going there like so many times, like close to 20 times. And I was 10 years old, 11 years old, going through teenage time, visiting museum many times a year. So naturally, I get to learn, right? And there's so many facts, evidence that shows how cruel it was. Many facts, but the one biggest fact that I thought I have to tell this to everyone was like how hot it was. The heat becomes 7,000 centigrade degree, which
Wow.
is hotter than the surface of the sun. So can you imagine that just comes over your head? Everything just melt down, burn out. This is how in Hiroshima 200,000 people were wiped out. In Nagasaki,
How
70,000
many?
people. In Hiroshima, by the end of the year of 1954, 200,000 people died
Oh, wow.
with the radiation diseases. And in Nagasaki, 70,000 people got wiped out. That's how strong the very second one and the third nuclear weapons. So can you imagine how strong it is now? I'm talking about the bombs, the second nuclear weapon and the third nuclear weapon created here in the United States 77 years ago, and that's how strong that was.
Wow. Now, my understanding, they bombed those two towns, communities, because there was military action there, and because of that, uh, being Japanese enemies at that time, the innocent people were sacrificed just to get the military, the Japanese military, to destroy it there. So,
Yes, you are quite right. You know, they actually the command at that time was genocide of Japanese people. Actually, that's what the military wanted. You know, that not only the
can you
big
repeat that for the
cities.
audience?
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat your last sentence for the audience? There's someone talking behind you.
Oh, okay. Um, you know, that command was not just bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but it was a genocide of Japanese people and
Genocide.
genocide. And
Yes.
not only the big cities, including Osaka, Kobe, Tokyo, Yokohama. The only thing they didn't bomb was Kyoto because there was the person in the military who studied abroad in Kyoto when he was young, and he made a big object of bombing Kyoto. So Kyoto was saved, but all the other big cities, not only big cities, but small fishermen villages and little towns, suburbs, everywhere was bombed. And actually, it was totally unnecessary to drop bombs. At that point, Japan was totally defeated. And I don't want to go into too many like deep details because there, you know, many people would get offended. But there are so
No,
many
I
actually,
understand,
yeah.
but it's world history,
Mm,
and how can you really offend people about nuclear war weapons? It affects all of us. You
mm-hmm,
know, the past and the present, and now just yesterday, United Nations was announcing that they were afraid of nuclear action going on. So you're not offending anyone. It's a part of history and it's a fact of today.
mm-hmm.
You know, so I thank you for sharing that history with me. I had no idea that small towns were bombed because the concentration in history is Hiroshima and the other town, and it needs to be known because when you're doing your programs, people want to know why you're doing your activism, and that's because of
Yes.
past experiences. How did you and Donna meet?
How did you what? Yes, Daname.
Yes.
How did we meet? I d- when did we meet?
Oh gosh, it had to be. We met during the beginning of Bunadori, so I guess,
I guess so. Yeah.
yeah,
So that was 2011.
11, yeah, 2011, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so
And
12 years.
I was
Yeah,
running, yeah, a Japanese noodle shop in Newports. That's
yeah,
where we were gathering for the meeting.
Oh, okay. And a sisterhood became.
But
You
I
have a
don't
new
know how
sisterhood.
we got to know.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Um, I want to talk about your activism with your 12th annual Bonadori Dance Festival.
Yes,
Can you tell me more about it? It's
sure.
going into its 12th year.
That is going to happen, yeah, this Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Donna, can you talk about it? I
Yeah.
don't think
So that,
my level is not that good.
sure. So this Saturday, August 6th, Bunadori Dance Festival starts at Gallo Park, Kingston, New York, which is out in the roundabout. It's on the end of Broadway Street, I guess, if you explain it that way, kind of. And it starts at noon and it goes to 8 p.m. We have vendors, we have music, we teach about the most important part about how dangerous nuclear waste is, nuclear warheads, and nuclear energy even. So that's a big part of Bunadori Dance Festival also. And we have great food and it's a good time. You get to learn a lot about what Japan has endured, but all had went through, but also you learn about what other countries can also go through very quickly. And then of course the waste. The waste is such a problem, nuclear waste. And Indian Point was just closed, and there it sits. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many other nuclear plants throughout the United States that are still running it up, and it's really crazy. Even in Japan, there's nuclear energy that runs still today, I believe, right, Yoko? There's still nuclear energies in Japan still. I don't know if she can hear me. She might not be able to hear me, but anyways, yeah. So it's really, really a good time for a festival. We Spirit of Thunderheart, my group, we open it up at 12 noon, and then there's other bands that perform throughout the day. I believe we're showing a movie, um, and then we perform again at 2. And yeah, it's a great time. This is the 12th year of Bunadori, the 12th year. It's amazing. So it's a good time for all. And it looks like we'll have good weather. It'll be a little warm, but we'll have good weather. So, and as the weather should turn, it will be at the, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of the place.
Andy Murphy.
Thank you. Yes, there we go.
Andy Murphy.
Andy Murphy.
Andy Murphy. Yeah, Midtown
And
Center.
Midtown Center. There we go. Midtown Center. And what's the address of that, Yoko?
It's
It's not
467 Broadway.
okay.
That's a
467
rainy day.
Broadway.
Mm-hmm. The
That's the
Gallo Park
rainy day.
is 1 Broadway.
Gallup Park is 1 Broadway, and the rain date is at the other place there, Midtown Center.
Right.
So, do we lose Yoko?
Oh,
Or
where
not
did she
Yoko?
go?
I think we just lost Firebird. But we're still on here live. We lost our host.
It's still live
Anyway,
going on, right?
we're still live. I can message her and let her know. Let me see.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm gonna message her and say we lost you. So, anyways, we can continue conversation until she comes back in.
Okay. Let's do that.
We're still live. And so, Yoko,
We should, yeah.
will we be doing a movie, showing the movies again, for Saturday?
Go? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, will we be showing the movies for Saturday?
Showing the movie for Saturday?
Yeah.
What kind of movie? I have one good trailer. That was out there. Setsuko Saro. She
Yeah.
is happened to be in right now. And the Buddhism priest Nakagaki, who a festival every year, he's
Yeah.
having a big ceremony the day before, August 5th. That's Hiroshima bombing.
Yeah.
That's our what time would it be? 7:15 p.m. August 5th. That's the time. That's when we did synchronized ago. You might remember that at the
Yeah.
Silson
I
Lawn.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is, this Buddhism priest is holding his on that time. So Setsuko Saro might come and join that and speak.
Yeah.
So right, Prime Minister Kishi is in New York. Signing or ratifying nuclear weapon ban treaty. If he did it, it's going to be the major change of the relationship between Japan and America.
Yeah.
Because the two countries who have not right on this ban treaty is the country who invented this nuclear weapon, and the other country, only one country in the world who has bombed with this nuclear weapons. And these two countries were not agreeing, signing, ratifying nuclear ban treaty. So it really doesn't make sense. So if primary prime minister,
We got you back.
Hi.
So,
The weather is not that great, so
no.
it affects the internet. So
Yeah.
let's start from the beginning and ask about the festival. 12 years in the making,
Okay.
and
Okay.
why the festival was created.
Okay. Go ahead, Yoko. Can you start that?
I can't hear her.
Okay. She wants you to talk about the festival, why it was created, and what's happening with it. What's
Sound.
gonna go from that day.
I can't.
She
I
can't
can't.
hear us.
Can she hear? Check her mic.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Yes, I hear you.
Now we hear you.
And I'll be working. Yeah. Hear
Can you hear us?
what I'm supposed to say?
Um, talk about the how the event started and why and what's happening on Saturday with the event. All about the event. I don't know if
I'm
she can hear.
losing you.
Tell
Okay.
her,
I
see
can.
if she can
All right.
go out and come back in.
Okay. No, we don't want to do that. We might never get her back. I can talk about the event.
Okay.
Okay. So,
All
anyways,
right.
this is the 12th Bonadori event, year 12, and it happens at Gallo Park in Kingston, New York, 1 Broadway Street, and we basically teach about the dangers of
Hear anybody?
nuclear war, nuclear warheads, nuclear waste, nuclear plants, and
Mhm.
anti-nuclear, and the dangers of it, and what happens to us when we are, attacked with nuclear or we live by nuclear waste even. So, anyways, that's what Bunadori is about. And we have speakers. We have Tamika West that will be there for as our guest. She's a Hiroshima survivor, and she speaks. And we usually have a spiritual person there that also speaks. And then throughout the day, we have music. Um, and there's vendors. The food is fabulous that's there. And you learn about how to be an activist for to talk against nuclear energy and nuclear war and nuclear waste.
She's a peace activist.
Yeah,
Um,
peace activist, environmental activist. Yoko's a
oh,
lot. She's a cook.
wow, she does it all. Can't she hear us now?
She's a designer.
Can she hear us?
I don't know. She's smiling. She might be able to hear us.
A little bit. I'm so sorry. The weather is crazy here. Um, now, she's won special awards appreciations. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yoko, can you hear? I think she froze. Maybe.
She can come.
Froze.
She could come back in. Donna.
Let me ask her if she can do that. I don't know if she has her. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Can you hear us, dear?
Yes.
Oh, she can hear.
Can you explain about your award you received from Mohawk Constellations there? Yeah, I don't know if I can type in it.
Can
Can't hear.
I want to type in the message. There you go. I know she can see that.
Fear said, thank you for sharing this information. See if you can get her to go back out and come back in.
Okay. Yoko, can you hear me? I don't know if she has a way to see her messages. There you go. Yoko, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you talk about? Yes, I can hear you. Awesome. Can you talk about your award?
Oh, that's awesome. Tell her that some guests are writing in to welcome her and to thank her for sharing this information on nuclear concerns. Can you hear me, Yoko?
I think she
Nana?
has a pretty bad signal there. I think.
Please tell her she can come. She can come out and come back in.
Shall I get out or what?
Okay.
Leave? Leave?
Can you come? Can you go out and come back in and see if you have a better?
Try to go out and come back in, dear.
Right.
Okay. Hopefully it'll be better.
Yeah.
I mean, she's such a important person.
Yes, very much. Very much.
Hope she can come back in.
Ah, okay, so
I'm trying to see if I can sign.
so we can continue to talk while she comes back in if you want.
Well, you can tell the audience a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna look at the comments here.
I signed her back in. I signed her back in.
Okay, good.
Ms. Osaponi said to the chat, to the divine women on the panel. How sweet.
Hmm, that's sweet. So yeah, it's gonna be great to be able to get back out. Last year we had a small Bunadori because of COVID, and it was very small, and there's only a few of us. I think musicians. I think there's only two of us, maybe three, and we had showed movies, a few movies, one anime about Japan and the bombing and of big boy, fat boy, and little boy there.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you text her to see if she could come back in?
uh,
Also, if the audience has any questions to ask, much appreciated.
so last year, it was small, but we showed anime. Then we showed another actual very good film about actual footage of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and it was really, really powerful. I mean, to actually see actual news of this happening. I
Yeah.
believe I sent some of it to you, Firebird, in an email, and it was heartbreaking to know that the cruelty that was put onto the Japanese people, the citizens, of elders and women and children, and
How
survivors.
how old is the Hiroshima survivor? How old is she? Would you know?
I think she is 80. I'm gonna say 84, but I think she might be a little bit older than that. But she was, I
So
believe she was.
she had to be a small child.
She was, yeah, she was, and she never could have children.
Here she comes.
She actually married my godfather. So, out of respect, we always called him Uncle Mel, and Uncle and Aunt Tomiko. So I grew up with her.
Can you hear us now, dear?
I grew up hearing her stories, of Hiroshima.
She's
And,
back.
anyways, that was very, very important
I,
to, have that relationship with her growing up. So, I was talking about to me.
Nana, can she hear you, hun? Can she hear you?
Can you hear me, Yoko?
I can hear you guys. Yeah, I can hear you. I don't see visual.
Oh, okay.
No images.
Okay.
You have some audience. Oh, we lost her.
Oh, now I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes, people are thanking you for coming and sharing your life and your information about Japan and the personal how can I say connection with nuclear weapons and war because it happened to your country and your activism, what you're doing now to make things better. When you say that you have a dance, is it a special type of dance or it's just a community dance? Can you explain about the festival to me, to all of us? We're
Sure.
very interested, and I want to know how I can participate in the future.
All right. This is for everyone. And the platform, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a so it's based on traditional Japanese dance festival, and it's a bone dance is a performance. You participate as a part of the loop, and you follow everybody's how they're dancing. It's very simple way of dancing, and there are many different folk songs available for a very particular type of dance. And it's simple, easy. Once you jump in the loop, anybody can follow the simple dance, and it's so much fun. And we have the Buddhism period called Bon. It's most of part of Japan observe that on August, like 3 days in August, August 13, 14, and 15. And Bon dance is that time. That's why it's called Bon Odori. That means Bon dance. And it's because it's so much fun, and it's also the time to welcome our ancestors. And most of the people, Japanese people, go back to hometown to get connected, reconnected with all the friends, parents, friends all together. It's a very important time for all Japanese people. And it's, when I grew up, my time, it was one of the highlight of the summertime. And I really wanted to share the fun here in this country with my community people. And at the same time, this is a good opportunity to learn about our Buddhism and Shintoism based culture, which is very different from American cultures. And at the same time, we needed to share how it's very difficult to describe. It's cruel to kill people by these nuclear bombs, and how wrong to use the same theory to make power. Nuclear power is not the right way to go. And also, many people don't understand how harmful the nuclear power plant is. So I like to bring in those information. At the same time, peace is not brought by the government or your father or the God. It's inside of you. It's inner peace is the real peace. And by having this inner peace, each person, we can just achieve the most peaceful world. And right now, so many things happening because of the races, ages, so many like big, tall walls, barriers everywhere. Everybody's separated. But that's something that definitely is not good for achieving the peace. So by dancing together, you don't need any language. You don't need to speak Japanese words. You can just jump in, dance together, and feel like, okay, we are the same people. We're gonna have fun together. And so why don't no, just it brings to the point that we are all the same, and we can't hurt you. You won't hurt me. We are all the same. That's why we are dancing together, and we pray together for the victims of nuclear disasters, not only nuclear weapons, but so many people suffered from these nuclear plant meltdown accidents. So much radiations coming out every day, 24/7, from all the reactors who's in operation. We have to change the direction of our future. Nuclear is not the answer. We have so much more, so many more different options. For example, right now, this tiny, small hydro nuclear, not nuclear, non-nuclear hydro power plant is being tested, and setting up in a small creek, not the big river like Hudson Valley. That's providing 8,000 homes real power. If
Wow.
we bring this device and set it up in Hudson Valley, maybe we can bring like 100 of them, and that's going to provide 80,000 homes power. We have to change the direction. We have to change the world. And at the same time, we have to learn how to save power. We don't need to have all the lights up while we are sleeping. We can turn off the lights of the rooms that we are not using. We may be able to use just one cloth to dry our clothes instead of turning, dryer. There are so many different ways of saving power, and maybe we don't need that much power to begin with. We have to start rethink how we can save power, or maybe instead of electric power, we should use more human power, right? Something like that.
Right.
That those are the all, big assignment project themes that we have to keep on thinking.
Now, how long have you been interested in changing the world as we know it with nuclear power?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm not interested in changing it, but we must do it. We don't have choice. We should think of alternatives, more green energy, not only sun. There are so many other things available, and we have to learn how harmful nuclear power is. And right now, the main focus of, you know, trying to remove the cause of climate exchange, everybody thinks that reduce CO2, but it's true, but it's not the all. We have to remove all the things that's creating so much heat. Electric appliance is one thing. Manufacturing is one thing. Farming is one thing. But nuclear power plant is dumping so-called cooling water, which is hot water, to rivers, ocean, everywhere in the world, non-stop. And that is seven. This is official announcement, so it's much higher. it's 7 centigrade degrees higher than the environment where nuclear power plant is located. And that's hot enough to kill all the marine lives. And by taking in water to nuclear power plant, they have to mix in chemicals to kill all the lives in the water so that it won't affect to cooling process. And that chemical comes out together when they dump water. And water is not just water, right? It's high, hot water with chemicals and heavy metals. And right now, about 500 reactors are dumping this kind of polluted water everywhere in the world. That's how.
President Biden just did an alert, environmental alert, heat alert. Um, I guess things are really, really, really bad with the ozone layers and, the water, the oceans. They say all the sharks are coming towards where humans swim, and things must be happening in the oceans as well. Uh,
Mhm.
it's a big situation going on. He just called for a state of emergency,
It is.
and your festival couldn't come at a better time.
Mm. It,
When is the first day of the festival?
it's just only one day, but August 6th,
August 6th.
this
So
Saturday.
that's basically in a few days.
Yes.
And where is it going to be held at? Because I want to invite you back on the show because of the problems that we're having with the broadcast, which is part of the environment causing it with the internet. So I would like to invite you back on the show and talk more about this. And where is the festival being held?
Correct. If the weather won't be too much trouble, I would like to do it in the park called Gallo Park in downtown Kingston. It's that area is called Rondout, and
Round out. That's upstate. That's upstate New York.
yes, Kingston, New York.
Repeat that for me one more time.
Sure, that's Rondout, downtown Kingston, New York.
Uh, I don't know if your computer is up. Are we having some kind of reverb where it's like when you talk, something talks behind you?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you can turn your computer down, or is that someone in the background talking?
No, let me turn off my laptop. How's
Much
that?
better.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
So
that was the culprit.
good.
That was the culprit. So the festival is August 6th. And what town again?
Town, the city is called Kingston.
Donna,
Kingston.
can you repeat that?
Yeah, it's Kingston, New York. Gallo Park, Kingston, New York. Down the roundabout, hold the roundabout. 1 Broadway Street, New York. Kingston, New York.
And
Yeah,
how long does the festival last?
it goes from 12 noon to 8 p.m.
One day or the whole weekend?
One day, just that Saturday, August 6th.
Okay. May we have her website?
Website?
Website? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bonodori.org.
Donna, can you
Bonodori.
repeat the website?
Yeah, Dana.
Funadori.org. Funadori.org is a
Could
website.
you spell it for the audience?
Okay, well, I'm dyslexic, so I'll try. BON dash. I'm going to mix up letters.
Yeah,
Wait, I have to write
B.
it. I have to write it. It's the only way I can do it. Okay, there we go. Okay. BON O front and door. Yeah. ODORI. I did it. Dot
Okay.
org. Dot org. I can put it in the
www.b,
yes.
B is in boy,
Yes. ORI
ORI
.org.
dot
ORG.
org.
Yeah.
N is missing. N. BON.
Huh?
BON.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
O.
have to say BON. I'm
I
sorry.
have Bori.org.
BON. OR. Here I go again. I want me. OGORI.
BONO, right?
Yes.
BON. Not.
BONO
Yes.
D.
BONOGORI. Correct.
BO BO BONORI
I'm
dot
putting
org.
it here.
Shall I text to you?
Yeah. I'm putting it in the chat here.
Put it in chat.
There you go. It's in the chat there.
Okay. Okay. She's a chef and she owns a restaurant in your town
Yeah.
as well.
Kingston.
What What is the name of the restaurant? I'm going to come up there and see you, Donna.
Okay.
Come over to a bowl of noodles.
And you're on the program, right, Donna? You and the drummers are on the program, and how many acts are on the program?
Wow.
Donna,
Yoko? I
do
don't
you
have
know
a
how
clue.
many acts are on the program?
Yes.
Yoko can answer that better than I can. I don't have it in front of
I
me.
couldn't hear you.
How many musicians are on the program?
How many what?
And how many drummers? How many drummers, dancers, and musicians
Oh,
are on the program?
and the first drummer is you, Spirits of Thunder heard first, right? Then followed by um, Energy Energy Dance Company. That's African drummer and dancer. Then followed
Oh,
by then followed by Emily Vale and Uptown Lowdown. That's jazz dance from 20s to 40s. Then we have some really fun, um, just a little activity called watermelon busting. And we just cover our eyes and hit the watermelon with a stick. It's like Japanese style piñata. Then
Oh, nice. That's a nice concept.
yeah, and we eat after we bust it. And the mayor of city of Kingston will have speech,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and I have some speech. Then we have another like event. Oh, maybe Hula Hooper comes from High Falls and Stonebridge. They might do like really nice flow of things. And Aikido New Paltz might come and show their wonderful demonstration. And we're gonna have sing along. This time we didn't invite too many bands, but we decided
Mm-mm,
to sing
mm-mm.
together, like some really peaceful songs like Imagine by John Lennon, or
I met him.
yeah, where have all the flowers gone by Pete Seeger, things like that, like songs that everybody knows and everybody can sing together. We're gonna have like sing along time. Then followed by taiko drumming. This is amazing American taiko drummer who brought up in Tokyo. So he's outside is a white American person, but his spirit is Japanese. That kind of Stuart Payton and Burlington Taiko. Then followed by the performance of Japanese folk dancer Min Buza. They come from Manhattan, and they
Oh,
show their beautiful
Japanese folk
performance.
dancers.
Yes, Japanese folk
Oh, from
dancers. They're
Manhattan.
beautiful. Yeah.
I wish I could have them in the parade.
Come, come. Then we do this loop dance, bon odori dance, and I think before that, after that probably uh, our friends monk Buddhist monk Nakagaki will have Heart Sutra chanting, and everybody can follow him.
Oh, that sounds
And
awesome.
yeah, and we finished with our local duo, female singers called Barley Lace, and they just have beautiful acoustic music, guitar, mandolin, and singing. Then that's close to the end, and very end, we have kind of fun thing to play with the light. We are calling it Lights of Hope. We just have like little lights floating up to the sky, like many, many
Oh,
little,
that's beautiful.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
though, the Japanese lanterns, right?
Not quite, not quite, something very inexpensive.
Oh, okay. I know that's gonna be beautiful.
Let's see. We
Very
tried to do the
beautiful.
same. Yeah, we tried to do the same thing 3 years ago, and it didn't go too well. But hopefully, it works this year.
Now, are you going to have it filmed and put it on YouTube?
Um, you know, this year I didn't look for any videographer, but if somebody volunteer filming it, of course, I would like to post it in a YouTube too. It's really
Yeah,
amazing
because
what
I would
everybody.
love to see that.
Oh, thank you for saying that. So if you're
Yeah, that sounds
interested,
awesome.
yeah, hopefully we can find somebody. Maybe we should just start asking for it. We have 4 more
Yeah.
days.
Well, try to arrange someone, one of your children, your husband, or Donna's husband's good at photography. Somebody to make some videos so I can share. You got me quite excited.
Hmm. Let's find out. Yeah.
Now, are you trying to have what we call a movement where different people can do similar type of festivals to be against nuclear weapons, or
You know,
this is just something your organization is doing?
it's very interesting. This year, I got the special award by the organization called Mohonk Consultations. They are a serious peacemaker. They've been around for many years, and they are seriously working every before every wars, like starting like World War I. This group
Mm-mm.
Mohonk consultations get together with many families and trying to figure out how to stop the war, or how to make it much lighter than getting them both countries or more countries like serious damage. They've been working long time to help raise awareness of peace, more great everything. And I got reward award from them as a most distinguished achievement as a peacemaker. And maybe because of that, I got approached by a few different peacemakers in a different area, and one of them is this new the group in New Jersey, and I'm going to attend their own commemoration of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on Zoom. That's the very next day after we finish this event. But so I think this is kind of beginning. I feel like lots of people are interested in how or what I'm thinking about changing it. And so, it wasn't like this till yet last year. Everybody, some people, tell me like, Yoko, how can you change the world? Why you think that doing that, event make people different? Those are the very typical questions I got. But it's different now, this year especially. Today I went to put up the poster in Rosendale. That's a small town nearby Kingston. And I stopped at one gas stand called Stewart, and I walked to the bulletin board in the inside, and the inside on the front of the bulletin board there was a little table and chairs, and like five kids were sitting and munching on the snacks. And when they realized that I'm coming to put up the poster, they just kind of moved away and let me do that what I wanted to do. And the one so I just told them, this is the dance festival I'm doing to protest nuclear weapons, energy, and radioactive environment. And surprisingly, totally unexpectedly, these young children, they're kids, 10 years old, 11 years old, they said, they said, I agree. They said, I agree. I think it's important. These kids said that. And that really made me think, oh my God, this is a time we really have to start to think about it seriously. These young people, they understand what I'm talking about. They understand what I'm doing is important. It's really the proof. It's time. Don't you
Yeah,
think so, Donna?
yeah, it's so important that the youth listen. They don't just hear, but they listen because they're the next ones up and coming. They're our next lawyers, politicians, doctors, nurses, social workers, for everything. I mean, they're the ones that are going to continue on when we're no longer here. So it's important that the youth listen to what we have to say and learn about what we have to say. And what I found as when I used to teach, I found that no matter how young the students were, um,
Mm.
they went home and talked to their parents or talked to an older brother or sister or someone younger even. And then that way it went on and on and on, and it rippled, you know. And my thing is, even one person listened, one
Yeah.
child listened, that still made a
Mm.
difference because it would act as a ripple effect. But we really need a lot of children to actually listen and youth to
Mm.
listen, to hear, so that they can carry it on. I think we just
Yeah.
lost Firebird again. it's us again.
Yeah. I think, early education about this dangers of the nuclear age and necessity of ending nuclear age needs to be in the early curriculum for children, so that
Yeah,
everybody starts to understand how dangerous it is, and they
right,
will
right.
start to think about, you know the other alternative, how we can just avoid using that much power, or we can just totally go back to before Edison, but
Yeah,
still create something much nicer, and still
right,
keep
right,
the people happy. Yeah, still create
right,
something much nicer, and
right.
still keep the people happy. Yeah, still create something much nicer, and still
We have a
Yay!
yeah, still create something much
we have an
nicer.
echo.
Whoa, somehow echoing.
We have an echo.
By the way, I heard you all on YouTube.
Okay, all right.
I
Whoa.
lost me, but I heard you on YouTube.
Oh,
So we got our mission accomplished. But as long as you kept talking and you got your message out,
yeah.
I like to invite you back soon.
Thank you.
And after, we have to have you back, uh, and we can learn more from you about your accomplishments with this type of work that you do to alleviate nuclear power, and we like to learn much more from you concerning the situation and the topic. So I'm definitely going to have you back on, probably after the 6th, so you can tell us about the show, and I can ask you more questions about your mission and what will you be doing next after the festival. One quick question. Have you ever spoken at the United Nations?
Well, I'm so small. you know, I'm not sure if who should I talk to. Maybe.
She really needs to be at the United Nations.
Yeah. Check with Tamika West. She might have an idea there for the United Nations. Um, just a thought,
Well,
you
let's
know.
find out. Yeah, I want
Um,
to learn.
I could check with the one. I could check with the one group that I belong to. I mean, we do very interesting things. I mean, they
Okay.
might. I'm sure
All
they'd
right.
be interested in hearing. Yeah, I can check too
Okay.
also. But Uncle
Right. So
West
then
would be
we
pretty
too go there, right?
good. Yeah.
You and me. Let's go.
Well, it was wonderful having you tonight. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Mother Nature has her own mind on things, and we have no control over the situation. But
None
you
at
got
all.
your none at all. But you got your mission out, your words out, and I'm going to have Donna text you or call you and invite you back on the show, because this is really a hot topic as we speak. They're discussing it in the United Nations as we speak, and they have no idea of how long you've been working at this mission. And I like to learn much more from you. It seems like the women have a lot of times better control over situations, um, wanting peace, not war. A lot of our men are prone to war type tactics, and peace, love, and dancing and music sounds like a nice way to heal everyone. And I would definitely love to have you come back on and share some of your healing techniques through music and dance and love to stop nuclear disaster.
That's right.
Uh,
That
So Donna, I'm going to arrange for you to have our new sister come back after the festival, and I'm going to cross my fingers that Mother Nature is one time Mother Nature goes to war like the men. we can't control her, but I'm going to cross my fingers and toes that the next broadcast is flawless, and a lot of people can hear about your healing technique. That's a wonderful thing. I had no idea you existed, and I'm very excited to have met you, and your knowledge and your wisdom about nuclear power and what it does and what it shouldn't be doing. So, Donna, I'm going to say good night. Yoko, I'm going to say good night. Love you both.
thank
And
you so much.
have a good time at the festival. Dance one for me.
uh,
And I want you to come back so we can talk about it. It's such a hot topic, nuclear weaponry and mass destruction, and what we as humans can really do about it and turn it around. And we don't have to go that route, you know.
uh,
I believe, like you do, love, peace, and harmony.
Yes.
And I thank you so much, dear. And I thank you, Donna, for bringing her on the show. It was right on time because I had really heard that announcement from the UN head the day before, and you approached me about it. So, creators doing something up there, you know.
uh,
So, both of you enjoy, and I'm going to sign off now because Mother Nature is giving me an opportunity without interruption. Everyone, this is Fiber Grey Wolf of Native Voices Turtle Island TV. I hope that all of you got to learn something today, and we're going to continue it because it's not going anywhere, but it needs to go. And until then, Donada Gahani. Good night, everyone. Love you guys.
good night. Love you both. Good night, Ona.
Good night. Thank you so much for having me.
And save me a dish from your restaurant. I'll be up there.
We talk about it.
I got my appetite ready. Okay, sweetheart. Sweetheart number one, sweetheart number two. I'll talk to you soon. Signing
Talk
off.
to you soon. All right.
Talk to you
Good
soon.
night.
Ona. Bye.
Night.
Ona.